What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone's having a fantastic evening, afternoon, pre-noon, no matter where you are in the world. I'm Hassan Piker, and this is the HASAN broadcast coming to you live from sunny California, Los Angeles, folks. We're live and alive, and I hope all the boys, girls, and MBs are having a fantastic one, because today's a beautiful day. Today's a wonderful day. Today is a summer Tuesday, Newsday Tuesday. We're gonna get started, obviously, on the big booty cheeks bill. I covered it extensively yesterday with David Dane. As you guys know, there was a vote-a-rama that took place yesterday where, legislators were going up and down, figuring out whatever kind of like additional things that they wanted to add into the bill. They did that, and they officially passed it this morning. Obviously, this is devastating, as I warned yesterday. It is a completely psychotic wealth distribution bill. It is one of the worst bills. It is one of the most fascist bills. It is terrifying, and it's most likely going to pass in the fucking House of Representatives too at this point. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it is what it is. America winning. We're winning. Oh, we're winning so hard. I can't wait. 17 million people kicked out of health insurance as a consequence of the underfunding of Medicaid. 17 million Americans. And we don't even know the full extent of the bill yet, because they basically were adding stuff. They were writing the bill up until the last moment where they voted on it. So we don't even know the full extent of it yet. But as we parse through, there are obviously a lot of the high-level things that we've discussed: Medicaid cuts, work requirements for SNAP and Medicaid in general, but then also simultaneously a shit ton of funding for the American military, but for ICE in particular. That's a really terrifying amount of money. Why do they want to overfund ICE like this? Well, because ICE's major hurdle at this point, in order to do these like concentration camps, in order to operate as the Gestapo secret police force that Trump wants it to be, they don't have enough funding. They don't have enough people to work at ICE. Rural hospitals are gone. Underserved neighborhoods where the hospitals require Medicaid expenditures, done. At a time when rural hospitals are already in a place of crisis. It is super over. America is done. America is extra done. America was already done. It's super done now. What is their end goal here? What do you mean? Fascism, 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 shock doctrine, fascism, privatize everything, kill the working poor, make sure that their lives are fucking horrible. And when they speak out, take away their citizenship. It's not happening yet. And I've been warning about this, but this is the final stage. This is how it has always worked throughout history. That is where we're at right now. We are doing domestic shock doctrine. We have been doing it since 9/11, but this is kicking it into high gear, basically hitting the last level, okay? Would you have expected us to get here as quickly as we did? Feels nuts. Yes. Trump is greatly accelerating America's fascist demise, but yeah. I mean, it's what, 6 months at this point? We're nearing 6 months. Not even 6 months yet. This is like 5 months and change. And here we are. We bombed Iran. The genocide of the Palestinians are continuing. We are accelerating weapons transfers to Israel. Hassan has been calling this for several years, and every lib has been saying he's been exaggerating. I know. And we're here. Where are the liberals? We got concentration camps with fucking alligators on them. The lie that undocumented migrants are actually a national security issue has basically taken root, so much so that people don't even question it at this point, and that lie needs a solution. I feel like we're going to spend the rest of our lives trying to undo everything in this bill alone. Stuff like Medicare for All is taking a backseat to just defending the minimum we already had. Our imaginations shrink. Yes, because when Republicans come to power, they do everything they can with these kinds of budget reconciliation bills to undermine any kind of amenities that the working poor got in the past like 100 years or so. And they do it successfully every single time they're in power. And then the Democrats don't even claw back any of those gains. Like they don't even restore the normal order once they are in power. This is what is also known as the ratchet effect. Where would you go live that's better, and they aren't concentration camps. They're not going to pull people's eyes out or gas them or kill them. They're just holding them until they can go back to their country where they came from. I hope you understand something here. You're never going to understand this reality because you probably are completely oblivious to history. This is exactly what the average German nationalist said about the Jews. They were like, listen, these guys represent a national security threat. It's perfectly valid to take away their citizenship, and it's perfectly valid to put them in a concentration camp as we move them away. We're not going to, like, claw their eyes out. I don't know why that's like, we're not going to kill them. This is how the Holocaust literally happened, okay? I'm sick and tired of explaining it. Like, what is the point? What is the point of learning about history if you are just not going to learn about history at all or take away any lessons from it whatsoever or ever use it as a decent analogy to what's going on currently? What the hell is happening here? In its inception, all of these concentration camps were there to concentrate political dissidents, communists, socialists, and eventually, past the point of the Nuremberg race laws, they were there to concentrate people whose citizenship was being removed, whose citizenship was being called into question, saying Jews do not have loyalty to Germany. They are a national security threat. Do you understand? And their citizenship was being removed. They became nationless. They became stateless. Also, the meaning of concentration camps has been lost on people. Concentration camps were more like brutal prison labor camps, while death camps like Auschwitz and Birkenau were places of mass slaughter. People died en masse in the concentration camps, but their sole purpose wasn't to fucking kill people. Yes, the initial extermination measures were presented as an act of mercy to spare the constraint from the inhuman conditions of the camps. When ICE victims in this country die in captivity from heat exhaustion or overwork or starvation, it is the beginning of their manufacturing of consent for mass murder. I have straight up said that this will be what will happen. The Jews who lived in Germany were rounded up because they were Jewish, not because they came to Germany illegally. Brother, the difference between someone who has lived on U.S. soil for 5-10 years without getting the proper authorization, while simultaneously having a work clearance, not having the proper documentation to be a full-blown citizen, is just paperwork. That's what the government decides is someone who is illegal versus someone who is legal. Like, for example, your disgusting inbred parents that fucking came here multiple generations ago by ship were afforded a benefit that these newcomers have not been afforded. So when your dumbass crawled out of your ugly ass mother's pussy on U.S. soil to become an American citizen at the moment of birth, and your mother did the same, and your father did the same, even though they were directly related to one another, brother and sister, I suspect, which is precisely the reason why your brain capacity is the way it is. They got this benefit. They got the proper authorization at some point in time. Do you understand? We are not doing that to the newcomers, even though they have a de facto work authorization to work here. God, you're condescending. I tried to explain this politely, and he turned around and gave me this fucking short ass, stupid ass fucking answer. Who decides who is legal and who is illegal? During chattel slavery, black people could not be free. Okay, freeing a black person was considered illegal. Slavery, on the other hand, was very much legal. The government decides who is illegal and legal. So, just like in Nazi Germany, the government decide Jews illegal, no longer citizens of Germany. And the reason why they justified this was because of a period of dehumanization, lies, the economic volatility that Germany was experiencing was directly reoriented back to Jews. Kind of like the economic volatility that Americans are currently experiencing is directly reoriented back to undocumented migrants. You know how the Trump administration says unjustifiably that migrants are the reason why there's so much crime, there's so much uncertainty that you can't pay for your rent or whatever. Also, the Trump administration has obviously talked about denaturalizing American citizens as well. There's also a new list that is coming down the wire as well, that will have a list of all documented American citizens. Thank God we also gave hundreds of millions of dollars to Palantir so that we can do mass surveillance on the list of American citizens. Once we decide who is a political dissident and who is not a political dissident, we can also denaturalize those people, at which point we will have moved fully into the post-Nuremberg laws style Nazi Germany governance, and chatters will probably still be yelling at me when I say, this is exactly what happened in Nazi Germany. They'll go, dude, 6 million Jews haven't been slaughtered yet. If you are a Trump supporter from a rural area, you will no longer have a hospital. You probably already have a hard time going to whatever hospital that exists in your vicinity, but you're double fucked now because now no more hospitals. If there was no hospitals in a 50-mile region, now there's no hospitals in a 100-mile region. And the ones that remain will unironically be swapped at all times. Cutting Medicaid is profoundly stupid. American healthcare already is one of the worst by every metric in comparison to comparable OECD states. American healthcare is unironically worse than much poorer countries that have nationalized systems. And it is going to get even worse now because these rural hospitals where Trump supporters live, in the areas that Trump supporters live, rely heavily on Medicaid. That is the only way that people can pay for it. Medicaid is the only way that people can pay for healthcare because these are places that are impoverished, okay? Very poor people live in these places. So when there's no funding vehicle for these hospitals, when that expenditure is cut, they won't be operating. They will not be able to operate. It's that simple. Why are Republicans killing their supporters? They don't care. They don't care because Republicans serve capital openly. What do you mean? They directly assassinated a major chunk of their base of support with boomers. The boomer vote has shifted to the Democratic side. If you noticed in the last couple of elections, like it changed a little bit. And I think the last election, the gains made by boomers wasn't necessarily made on the virtue of like the Democratic Party making a better argument than the Republicans did for the boomers. It's because all the fucking right-wing boomers died. They killed them. But it didn't matter because there's a unlimited amount of stupid people in this country that'll still vote for the fucking Republican Party. When Mitch McConnell was told about the calls coming in telling him not to cut Medicaid, his response was, they'll get over it. I can't think of another instance where they're just so transparent about how little they care about the working poor. A part of the reason why there is no real momentum behind the Democrats is because the Democrats don't actually convincingly tell a story that they're on the side of the fucking working class. And this is precisely the reason why when the election cycle comes around, the Republican demons get to lie actively to their fucking base of support and even pick up low propensity voters aggressively because the Democrats are also servile to corporate interests. Sure, Democrats won't pass a package like this. Never. Okay? They would never do that. 100%. This is what I mean when I say, of course, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party are different, okay? Especially when it comes to domestic policies. But if the Democrats' alternative vision for America is basically a watered-down version of this, then obviously people are going to go for the full thing. They're going to go for the full-strength soda as opposed to the diet soda. This is why I'm so fucking critical of the Dems, okay? This is why I get so mad about the Democratic Party because they are not a true opposition party. Because I want them to win so that this doesn't fucking happen. If there aren't like 1,000 different Zoran Mamdanis that bloom as a consequence of this devastation, and the Democrats are still operating on the Hakeem Jeffries notion of politics, the Chuck Schumer notion of politics, then Americans are just going to get more and more angry. And in that volatility, as we have seen in the past couple of decades, they become incredibly easy to manipulate. They become more and more angry at like random people. They become scared of their own fucking shadows. This is precisely the reason why simply sitting around and expecting the Americans to come to terms with like this economic devastation is idiotic. It's dangerous. What is Chuck Schumer doing in opposition? News, I just got the name struck off this bill with a move on the floor of the Senate. It's no longer named One Big Beautiful Bill. The bill is big, ugly betrayal of the American people by the Republicans, and the American people will remember
Budget Act of. I raise a point of order against page 1, lines 3 to 5 of the pending amendment, which violates Section 313B1A
He's so
of the
fucking
Congressional
badass,
Budget
dude.
Act of 1974.
God damn.
The point of order is sustained. The text will be stricken.
He's a bad bitch. God damn, he's so sick. He's so fucking sick, dude. That's my goat right there. Yo, he's the man, bro. Y'all don't understand swag when you fucking see it, dude. Swag is hitting you directly in the face right now, and many of you are not recognizing my goat. My fucking goat. That just happened. That's how I'm gonna be. I've realized that my future career prospects lie with being a Democratic Party mouthpiece. So going forward, this is the type of shit you can expect from me. That just happened. Chuck Schumer is showing once again real swag. Everybody say thank you, Chuck Schumer. I'm gonna be a Dem faillennial. Precisely. Instead of screaming about how fucking horrible this bill is as they should be, they're punching left and shitting on Zoran and actively trying to get a Trump puppet reelected or get a cop rapist in office. Actual controlled opposition. These fuckers should be on the air 24/7 telling every single person watching how bad this will be. Explain what just happened with the bill. Chuck Schumer just changed the name of the bill. That's it. It's meaningless. I'm showing that as a way to explain to you that it's stupid. Once again, 50% of individuals over the age of 75 and 2/3 of those over 85 are on Medicaid. 60% of all nursing home residents receive care funded by Medicaid. Long-term nursing home care is funded by Medicaid. These are people who have Medicare, but also in order to get the proper funding for long-term nursing home care, they get Medicaid. What do we do with the old people? Do we just kill them? Do we just melt them? What are they going to do? This is once again more impactful than 100 9/11s, okay? This is the onion joke about, Osama bin Laden just kicks back. Al-Qaeda just kicks back and watches America collapse in and of itself. This is why I've also said, if you want to truly destroy the country, doing a 9/11 is not the most effective measure. Just fund the Republican Party, the number one terrorist entity on the fucking planet. Number two is the Democrats, for sure, but number one is still the Republicans. If you want to destroy this fucking country, just vote for the Republicans. That's it. If you want to destroy the planet, vote for the Republican Party. Number one terrorist of all time, okay? Number one at melting the working class. Number one at fucking doing giant redistribution policies for the tippy top of American society. It's cool, man. We'll get 1,000 new billionaires in the process, That'll be fine. FYI, the French are going to riot again. France to ban smoking in parks, beaches. This is crazy. What's next? They're going to ban pedophilia?